or we got to talk about this George W. Bush bullshit because this is really getting out of hand.
Are you talking about how liberals are suddenly embracing him as this paragon of virtue?
Yeah, so to recap, for 8 years, everybody who supported Obama, including us, blamed everything on Bush.
We did do that.
Years.
We did. The crash of the economy, the wars in the Middle East.
So maybe a lot of people don't remember this or they were too young, but when he got elected in 2000, half of the country said he was illegitimate and that he stole the election.
From Al Gore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had the worst attack ever with 9/11.
Yeah.
Worst attack on U.S. soil. Then we had the Iraq War, which
A completely illegitimate war where there was just tons of propaganda.
They lied about the weapons to get in.
And
cost all this trillions of dollars.
I honestly see the Iraq War.
Like a million Iraqis died.
Right, including a lot of innocent ones.
Right.
And I literally see the Iraq War as the first step in setting the Middle East on fire to the shitstorm that we have today.
Right. And then, on his way out, presided over the total collapse of the economy in 2007.
He did. But what you're missing is, if you see earlier this week, he made some nice comments and took some digs at Trump. And that's all liberals really want.
Right, so now all is forgiven.
All is
forgiven. For 8
forgiven.
years, they called this guy a Nazi.
Right.
And now that he's making some critical comments
war criminal
about Trump. And this is the best part. They're like, well, Trump is making him look good.
Yeah.
No, he isn't.
Well, but think of the things that Trump has done that's pissed everybody off. They're much worse than what Bush did. So Trump's insulted people. Right. He's offended people. Mm-hmm. Right?
He hurt a lot of feelings.
He hurt feelings. All Bush did, though, was start illegitimate wars.
Kill a million Iraqis.
Yeah. Collapse the economy, take away people's money, and create a bigger income and wealth disparity.
I just don't understand.
Make the world unsafe, create more terrorism. Profit off of the oil expansion, both in the United States and abroad.
These people are mental and moral midgets, and they have the memory of a fly.
Are you talking about liberals? I'm a liberal.
I'm talking about people who think that Bush is somehow a good guy.
So, but this has been going on.
The guy is a total piece of garbage. He was a terrible president.
Well, his entire administration.
He's still terrible.
His entire administration.
Yeah, they were all
terrible. I don't want to pretend like it was just him and not Dick Cheney and not Rumsfeld.
Well, I kind of liked Condi. She was all right.
Condoleezza Rice, Jesus. But look, this has been going on for months, so it wasn't just
Remember when Katrina hit? And everybody blamed him and said that he hated black people?
Because he didn't do anything about Katrina.
He's a horrible racist,
right.
And that he drowned all those people in New Orleans?
Right, but that was before Trump came
Where
along.
are all those critics now?
No, they love Bush.
How many people has Trump drowned? Well, I guess Puerto Rico now, they're going to go on about Puerto Rico.
About how, that's Trump's...
Okay. When Trump does
Katrina.
horrible things, when Trump starts a war that kills 1 million people or more...
Yeah, then we'll get on him.
I'll be on
Hey,
board.
look, when Trump pledged to have more troops in Afghanistan, I got pissed off at that.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Right.
I agree. But
the people
idea...
who are criticizing Bush now are the same people who said that's great. Send more troops to Afghanistan.
Okay, so this has been going on, though, for a long time now, months, ever since Trump came onto the scene. It wasn't just when Bush made this speech where he slightly took some subtle jabs at Trump earlier this week.
Mitt Romney did the same thing.
No, I'm saying Bush.
And they tried to make Mitt Romney resuscitate his image as well.
Yeah, but that didn't work because the guy's a wet rag.
Yeah.
But with Bush, it's been going on for months where we try to revitalize his image. Look at him on Ellen just a little while ago.
Like, why is he on Ellen?
I don't know.
Ellen is not the demographic for a former Republican.
Are you telling me that the
evangelical Christian president?
Are you telling me that the Bush administration was not good to the gay and lesbian community? So let's take a look at this.
So, I'm a big believer in the free press, just like I'm a big believer in free religion. You can worship or not worship, and you're equally American. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you worship or who you worship.
But did you hear all the people applauding him when he said free press and freedom of religion? Do we actually not realize?
I mean, this fucking guy's administration invented doxing, okay?
Right.
They're the ones who released Valerie Plane's name. She was an undercover CIA agent. Her husband was critical of the decision to go into Iraq.
No, you must be mistaken. He said he's for freedom of the press.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because he said he's for freedom of the press, we'll just forget about the fact that they leaked the name of an undercover CIA agent, endangering her entire family.
They also put
because of an article that her husband published in the newspaper.
That's
critical
correct.
of her.
Yes. They also put propaganda in the New York Times, if I'm not mistaken. There was an article that was written about WMDs in Iraq, allegedly the whole reason why we went into Iraq. Turns out that entire article came from sources in the White House. It was probably written by Dick Cheney himself, it looks like. But that's what they mean by freedom of the press. And freedom of religion, are we going to pretend that Islamophobia didn't increase dramatically under his presidency? And look, this is him on Matt Lauer a few months before, saying the same thing, and again, liberals applauding him.
I think it's very important for all of us to recognize one of our great strengths is for people to be able to worship the way they want to or not worship at all. I mean, the bedrock of our freedom, a bedrock of our freedom is the right to worship.
That's insane. We're actually going to pretend that he did not preside over a very religious administration that ended up amounting to a lot of Islamophobia.
He literally said, I got down on my knees and God told me to invade Iraq.
Is that true?
Yes.
He said that?
God told me to free the Iraqi people.
Oh my God. Okay. But you know what bothers me the most, though? Not just when he says this. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. But like you pointed out, when liberals embrace him just to get at Trump, and I didn't see a more explicit account of this than on ESPN's First Take. You know, the sports show?
Yeah.
Now, I love Stephen A. Smith. I love Max Kellerman. I think they do great work. But this clip, I actually think sums up our whole problem here. So let's take a look and see what we think of this.
I'm talking about people who've labeled this anti-Trump. No, it's anti-Trump behavior. It's not anti-him. That's the bottom line. If you don't act that way, like you said, whether it was Mitt Romney or John McCain or somebody else, regardless of what your political views may be, if this was George W. Bush, folks would not be acting this way.
Of course not.
And in millions of people's eyes, he got us in a war we should have never been in. But you wouldn't see people acting this way towards him.
Okay, so just to give context, this was from a few weeks ago when Max and Stephen A. were debating about whether or not the NBA players from the Golden State Warriors should visit Trump. And they're obviously saying no because they don't want to normalize Trump's bad behavior. But how fucked up is it that they literally mentioned that it would have been okay for, say, anyone else that you disagree with, like George Bush. All he did, all Bush did was, and he admits it, get us into a war we should have never been in. But that's not as bad as Trump calling football players SOBs.
Okay, remember when Romney said that 47% of the population doesn't pay taxes?
Yes.
And therefore, as president, I don't care about those people?
Yeah, he lost the election because of it.
Right.
Yeah. But no, that's not that bad.
Right.
As long as you are less crude than Trump, as long as you don't say politically incorrect things, then you're okay.
Yeah, we get it. He's vulgar and offensive.
Crashing the economy.
I actually think that's why he won.
Yeah, I do too.
Because people are so angry at politicians that they're like, let's send this guy in there
But does this not
and blow everything up.
But doesn't this get at a bigger point that we become so obsessed?
And Hillary lost because she said that, you know, half of the population is deplorable and I hate them.
Yeah, she did say that.
Maybe if she hadn't said that, she would have won.
But
somehow that's okay to say. It's okay to say half of the population.
But she didn't swear.
Is terrible.
She said it in a nice way.
She didn't make any.
Whereas Trump
jokes.
comes out Trump comes out. He's vulgar. He calls people SOBs. He attacks people he shouldn't attack.
It's okay
he has
to
no
lie
tact.
to get into a war that kills 1 million people.
That's
in Iraq
okay.
Because,
yes.
You know, God told you to do it.
As long as you have
and
a
you
pretty
believe
face
in
and
the
you
free
say it in a
press.
pretty way. Jimmy Dore always points this out. Obama got away with tons of egregious sins because he's got a pretty face and he says it in a pretty way.
Drone strikes. Thousands and thousands of drones. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
These people are moral and mental midgets.
Yes, I know. There's nothing wrong, according to them, with the drone strikes, illegal wars, all of that stuff. Yeah, we should still go visit.
I don't understand
them,
why is it that in order to be critical of Trump, you also have to whitewash all of the horrible things that previous members of the political establishment or existing members of the political establishment have done in the past. Why is that?
So
can we not say that they're both bad? Can we not be critical of some of the things Trump is doing? And can we not be critical of other things we know that are bad, that all these other guys
So this brings up the cynic in me, and it makes me feel very depressed. At the end of the day, I'm incredibly worried that people have become so obsessed with Trump that they honestly believe that the minute you get rid of Trump, everything is fixed.
These people are mentally deranged.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.